I've got so many things going on. I've got the dog.
I'm only going to be gone a day or two.
You want to go with Daddy?
I don't think you kids can go inside distilleries.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Amber, and today I have, I believe it is episode 3 in my reality show Nightmare series. So basically this is a series where I cover some nightmare / really tragic events that have happened to people that were either on a reality show or auditioning for a reality show or something like that. Something that has to do with reality TV. Whether they were a star on a show or they were involved with someone that was on a reality TV show, making a reality TV show, etc. And this is unfortunately the death and murder of Loredana Nesci. This is actually interesting because the woman that I'm going to be talking about actually was a former police officer, and then I do believe she went to school and became an attorney.
Once a Los Angeles police officer
Before moving to the East Coast for law school.
in a reality TV series that showcased her skills as a tough attorney.
Was also a fitness competitor, animal lover, and mother.
And then she did star in a reality show kind of based loosely around her life and her business, and it was actually on the Sundance Channel.
We got a little bit of a situation over here.
Oh, you're just full of good news, aren't you?
In 2013, the Sundance Channel produced and aired her nonfiction television show called Loredana Esquire, and that actually ran for one single season. Loredana was 47 years old at the time of her gruesome and brutal murder. And when you find out what the reasoning behind the reasoning and excuse for the murder is, you are going to I feel like your jaw will just drop to the floor, just like mine did. But let's get into a little bit of background about Loredana and the woman that she was. Loredana was a hard-working woman. This woman was the definition of a driven woman that had her eye on success. She had her eye on the prize. Nothing was given to her. She worked for every single educational level that she achieved, every single business level she achieved, every single dime she ever earned, every title she earned. She did it all by herself. She was not given it on a silver spoon or a silver platter or whatever that term is. This woman was driven, she was goal-oriented, and she went after everything she wanted, and she achieved it. And that is such an enviable thing. But I do think that sometimes when really successful people come into other people's lives that are not as successful, sometimes people either take it as, okay, this is inspirational, I want to learn from you, I want to support you and help you with your goals and dreams, and maybe you can help me with mine. Or some people get very devious, they get greedy, they want to take, and they don't want to help out whatsoever. And even though they want to reap the benefits of the other person's success, it's almost like they also want to sabotage them and interfere, yet they still want those benefits. So it's really just despicable behavior. She was born in Meridian, Connecticut, and she has two brothers who are actually high-ranking police officers in that same city. And her father is actually a well-known barber in the city of Meridian as well. So she is surrounded by really successful men in her life, because I think a barber is a pretty cool job too, especially if you're in the right sort of city. So Loredana obtained her bachelor's degree from the University of Connecticut. Loredana would later say that what she loves the most about Meridian is all of these people get together and they all get along. She clearly loved her home state, and when her reality show began, she vowed to film some episodes in Connecticut. So in 1996, Loredana lived in the state of Los Angeles, California, and she became a police officer. She also was very, very good at her job. In fact, she assisted the FBI in a very high-profile case of 1997. It was later known as the North Hollywood Shootout of 1997. So in 1998, Loredana decided that she didn't really want to continue being a police officer, even though she was very driven in that field. She had higher aspirations for herself academically. In 1998, she moved back to Connecticut and attended law school at, I don't know how to pronounce it, at Quinnipiac University in Hamden, Connecticut. She obtained her Juris Doctorate there. So in 2002, she actually obtained her Juris Doctorate there, and that is in law. After she obtained her degree in 2002, she ended up working for the legal firm of Spinella and Associates, PC, in Hamden, Connecticut. She was actually really excited because she had a love for law, but also entertainment. So she was actually responsible for expanding the firm's business into entertainment law. So that was something that definitely got to have Loredana dive into the love of both entertainment and also law into one. And you will see that later in her life, she got to actually marry those two and make a career and have a reality TV show based off of those two things that she really loved. So 2 years later, in 2004, she dubbed herself the Legal Diva, which is something that she is actually still known for today, even though she has unfortunately passed on. And she decided to move back to California. So in 2008, Loredana's career took for a much different turn. She was offered a radio show on the California radio station KCAA 1050 AM. So in 2013, the Sundance Channel produced and aired her nonfiction television show called Loredana Esquire, and it ran for a single season. So Loredana was a huge Yankees fan, and she really was into fitness, and you can see this on her online blog, which is actually taken down now because of her passing, but like I said, this woman was definitely motivated, driven, not just scholarly, but physically. And she also loved her family. Like, she was such a big family person. This woman did it all. She obviously was a super woman. And I can see how someone would be envious of her. But it's actually really sad that it's someone that she loved. Loredana also had a son. And she had two dogs, Tuki and Louie. And she often posted photographs of all three of them on her Instagram page. And they were also featured, I believe, in her reality TV show. I'm going to try and find some clips to include that within this video as well. Unfortunately, her life took a really bad turn. In fact, it ended. So on July 22nd, 2015, at about 7:20 in the morning, a Redondo Police 911 operator received a phone call from a seemingly very distraught Robert Reagan, who at the time was 51 years old and was the boyfriend of Loredana.
911, may I help you? Yes, I need the police. Nelson Avenue.
And he gives the address of his residence. Then he hangs up.
Hello, this is the Redondo Beach Police Department. You dialed 911. What's going on, sir? What's going on? Sir, can you tell me what...
You can sort of hear him on the other line. He's not answering their questions.
Hello? Hello?
Robert Brian Reagan, aka Robert Reagan, was born on April 8th of 1964. He was an entrepreneur who had tried acting back in 1992 when he was part of the off-Broadway cast at Win Handom Studio. He also studied filmmaking at California State University and business at the University of California. In 2007, Reagan became the CEO at Blixer Beverage Company from 2008 till 2010. He was also the talk show host of the radio show on KCAA AM 1050. He also, in case you haven't noticed by the photos that I've showed, was a model for Hugo Boss and I also believe Calvin Klein. And Robert is actually the father of Loredana's son, whose name is Rocco, and he was actually 5 years old at the time of his mother's death. Let's get back to the 911 call. But he was really weird in the 911 call, and I believe it came out to be that it took him like 5 hours from the time that Loredana was murdered or stabbed to the time that he made the 911 call.
They knock on the door and no one answers.
The 911 call came in about 7:15. The police were there by 7:18.
Once they do go in, they find a slaughterhouse.
The physical evidence was so much.
So basically, Loredana was stabbed to death. On the morning of July 22nd, 2015, it is said that Loredana and Robert had an altercation.
He first tells police it was all a horrible accident that occurred after a violent argument.
Telling cops it's all Loredana's fault.
Robert tried to say that she tried to hurt him.
He claims that during the course of that argument, she slapped him.
Robert then tells police that after that happened, he slapped her back and then she punched him violently. Apparently, after she punched him, he ran into their bathroom and hid there because he said he was afraid of her because she was very strong, she was physically fit, and she knew a lot about weapons. That's what he kept saying because she was a former police officer.
Finally, when she calmed down, that's when he came out of the bathroom.
And he said that she had armed herself with this large hunting knife.
There was a struggle to gain control of the knife.
He tried to say that she actually fell into the hunting knife.
He claimed that the knife accidentally went into her and she stopped making any noise.
This domestic dispute led to her being stabbed to death with a hunting knife. A neighbor told station KTLA that Loredana and Reagan had been remodeling their house and got into frequent arguments over the finances because Loredana, it seemed that she was bringing in all of the money, and I do believe that Robert was in debt and he really wasn't helping much financially, except for he was more of a burden than anything.
Well, Robert, I have it in the budget. It's not, we don't need it right today.
Now, it's currently going up and down on top of your cheek.
What?
For some weird reason, your bank card got declined.
He would make appearances on her show here and there, but apparently the relationship was a bit tumultuous, and it led to this explosive fight. And he said that he actually was defending himself against her and that she, in fact, impaled herself on this hunting knife. Now, Rocco was also actually in the house at the time of his mother's death, which is absolutely terrifying and disgusting and despicable.
Investigators combed the scene, trying to make sense of it all.
Investigators really wanted to know if Robert was possibly telling the truth. Was this an accidental death or was it a murder? And based off of a lot of the physical and circumstantial evidence, well, you'll find out what the jury said because he did go to trial. Loredana had been stabbed to death, although police initially could not confirm whether her death was due to a gunshot or stabbing. And Robert was actually arrested that day. Robert Reagan was arrested at the time of the murder, though he was not immediately charged. He did have a bond that was set at $1 million. In August of 2017, so just last year, Reagan actually went to trial. So the trial took about 2 weeks, and then a week later, there was a verdict from the jury. After a week of deliberation, the jury resulted in a verdict of guilty of second-degree murder. Reagan was sentenced to 16 years to life for his crime. When I hear the years 16 to life, that means he could potentially get out after 16 years, which makes me absolutely sick to my stomach because there are people currently incarcerated for far, far less dangerous crimes for a lot more time than that. And it just boggles my mind how inconsistent the law is. But that's beside the point. At trial, Reagan had attempted to claim that Loredana's death was accidental. His defense team claimed that she'd impaled herself on the hunting knife after the couple had gotten into a physical fight. The prosecution, on the other hand, argued that he'd done it purposely to avoid a custody battle over their 5-year-old son because, like I said, Loredana wanted to separate from him and she wanted to take custody of their son. And one thing that also worked really against Robert at trial is the fact that there was a previous 911 call for physical altercation with, I believe it was either his ex-wife or one of his ex-girlfriends, and she was terrified of him.
Robert, leave. You already heard me. Leave. I'm waiting for the cop. You leave.
No, I'm waiting for the cop. You leave right now. Okay, Vivian,
Yes.
don't talk to him. Roll up the window, don't talk to him.
In the 911 call, you can hear that she is asking him to step away from her, and he refuses to until the police actually get there.
And this is what may have swayed the jurors most of all. Blood smears on a sliding glass door on the opposite side of the bed from Loredana's body.
So there were a few witnesses that were on Robert's side and said that they couldn't even fathom him committing such a heinous crime. They said that he was a timid man someone that they said that Loredana was the one who was more abrasive, more angry, more loud, more in your face, while Robert was sort of the timid, doormat sort of boyfriend, and that he would never even raise a hand to her, let alone violently murder her with a hunting knife. However, the evidence proved otherwise, and that is how the jury reached their verdict of second-degree murder. I think the reason it was second-degree murder and not first-degree murder was because it did not seem that it was premeditated. I do believe that in order to get a first-degree murder conviction, the crime has to be premeditated, and this did sort of seem like a crime of passion, but there was an indication that there was a struggle because they did find a bloody handprint on the sliding glass door. At the trial, Loredana's family, including her police officer brothers, did speak on her behalf, and, well, I will try and include a clip of it right now.
She was trying to escape, but she was trapped by brutal. I will always be tormented by the brutal death that my daughter suffered.
Loredana's brother, a police lieutenant in Connecticut.
Who was Loredana Nesci? A human being that was murdered in the most brutal manner possible, left to die on a cold bedroom floor while Robert Reagan showered.
My friend named Karen Dawn did tell E! online that she didn't see how Reagan could have committed the brutal crime. She said he was a gentle man who loved his son. Dawn further added that the couple's relationship was already at an end and that it would have done Reagan no good to murder Loredana. In a victim's impact statement read in court after the sentencing, Loredana's brother Robert said to Reagan that he would never know what Loredana saw in you. She wasted years of her life, gifted you with so much money, and foolishly believed in your stories. You told her lie after lie. You were never grateful. But just like any other con man, you tried to dig deeper and get more out of her for doing nothing. And when she was finally going to leave you, you gutted her like a farm animal. End quote. Loredana's friend Tony Moore had described Loredana as a loving mother to her young son. Quote, in school, he was learning how to write, and he wrote, I love my mommy because she hugs me every day. That's the kind of relationship they had. That's what I want people to know. First and foremost, she was a mother of a 5-year-old little boy, a little boy who has lost his mother. I don't understand what happened. Other people have said she was a brilliant, beautiful, loving, kind, selfless, and so positive. Even when things weren't ideal, she would stay positive. When I talked to her Friday, even though her relationship was not going as planned, she was positive. I told her that was one of the things I admired the most out of her. The main love of Nesci's life was her son, according to her friends. She was an amazing mother and loved Rocco more than anything in the world. Moore says, everything she did was for him. They were so close. My heart breaks for him. She would coach him in baseball and loved taking him to games. Rocco went everywhere with her. She was planning on taking him to Italy. Okay guys, so that is it for today's reality show Nightmares episode number 3. If you guys like these type of videos, please let me know in the comments down below and also give this video a thumbs up. I do know this is a solved case, and sometimes people wonder, like, why are we even talking about cases that have been solved? But I think that there is always some sort of lesson to be learned in cases like these. There was definitely, in my opinion, indications that there was trouble in this relationship. There could have possibly been signs of abuse. Just sometimes I feel like hindsight is 20/20, and we can always learn from other people's tragedies. I think that it's always good to look for the silver lining in the most tragic of situations, and at least try and spread awareness and a word of caution to other people. And honestly, in my opinion, I sort of feel like this was a case of greed and envy. And I do feel like her husband, or a lot of people call him her husband, but I believe her live-in boyfriend, Robert Reagan, truly just I feel like he had the green envy bug and he was envious of her, and I think that she supported him for so long, and when she wanted to pull out of the relationship, he decided that, you know, if I can't have you, then no one can, and he brutally, allegedly, brutally just, this is a quote, gutted her, and that is despicable. It's absolutely terrifying that she shared the same bed and the same roof with this man that literally stabbed her, took her life while their son was at home in bed sleeping. The fact that someone is capable of such heinous crimes and acts upon another human being is, quite frankly, it leaves me speechless. I always feel so chilled after doing research for cases like this. And again, I do want to thank my lovely, lovely subscriber slash friend, Selena Maffont, for helping me with the research of this case. I did do a lot of research on my own. I've looked into this case for a while now. I want to say over a year now. But she's been just so helpful to me. And Selena, you are just, I tell you this all the time in emails and stuff, like, you are just a godsend. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your help. Honestly, doing videos in YouTube is a lot of work, and to have some help from someone like you is more than I could even ask for or hope for. So thank you so much, girl. You are incredible. And you guys, I did finally create a Patreon account. You guys encouraged me a lot to do so. And I do have my first 4 Patreons that I would love to thank. So Sonia Soto, Eric Valdovinos, Jesse Williams, and Honor Patterson. You guys are so awesome. I literally like cried because I don't know. I just can't believe that you guys like are my Patreons. Like, that's so cool, and I want to thank you so much. And also want to let you guys know that you can check out my merch if you want to support the channel. If you see this picture of me, that was my original Conspiracy 99 shirt that I got a lot of questions about. And, you know, Trisha Paytas actually suggested I make some merch, and because she thought it was a really cool design, and a lot of you guys asked me to, and I did it, and so far you guys have been loving it. And I did create tank tops and mugs, so be sure to check out the links down below. I love you guys so much. Like, I'm in awe. Thank you for 62,000 subscribers. I want to cry. Thank you guys so much for watching another video of mine. I have a lot more coming, and I love you guys so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up button so I know that you guys like this series. And also, please remember to always be kind to yourself and others. Being kind doesn't cost you a dime. I love you guys. Bye.